Hello, my loves, and welcome to another reading. I have my Imbolc Oracle deck from Seasons of the Witch. I can't remember. I can't remember the people, the authors, and the illustrators at the moment, but these decks get around. You can find them easily. We're hopping right into it. So we're getting a general vibe of this reading. Devotional. There's something so intimate when letters reflect the tongue. In times of introspection, when I am at my most vulnerable and revealing all that lives in me. So, baby, get on that journal game. Get on that journal game. There is something so powerful in... I'm just going to come at this to begin with from a emotional, mental health sort of perspective of when you are upset or even when you are full of joy about something, it is so good to write things out and to work through everything that is in that. Maybe a little less so from when you're joyful, because it's not necessarily that you have to work through things unless you do, unless it's bringing up something else, right? But it is so important to set what's in your brain out on something that is outside of your body. It helps you to put those thoughts, especially when they are not very nice thoughts, put those thoughts somewhere else that is no longer in your brain so that you can kind of like move on from it, or put your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, the things you are noticing about yourself. I've had a lot, I'm being called to say this, but I've had a lot of sort of seeing all the ways in which my childhood, the interactions I had with my parents and my family and my siblings and stuff like that, all the experiences that I had, especially as a young person, how that has really shaped the way that I react, and how I no longer want to react in some of those ways. Not all of them are, ways that I don't want to be in the world, but there are sort of things that have been really woven into the tapestry of me and my life and who I am as this person that I want to pick out and reweave with something else. And journaling is such an amazing way to be able to do that. There's plenty of resources online that can sort of help guide you on what to write if you feel you are at a loss. But I very highly recommend, even if you write that you're pissed off at something, or that you felt really frustrated with someone or a situation that you couldn't really do anything about, or you felt like you couldn't do anything about, or you felt like you didn't do the right thing in, even writing that down helps immensely. And then also figuring out how to write about how you felt when you reacted this certain way, how you felt when somebody said something, is very, very good. Very highly recommend doing some introspection on the page. Plus, on top of that, the other message, very powerful message of this, is that I was just talking with my partner about this today, actually, but about words, about the words that we use are a spell. There is a reason why, especially in English, we call it spelling, and that a spell, a magical spell, is also a spell because words are important. Now, a spell doesn't always require, words for sure, but they do help, especially when you can find the words that truly express what it is that you desire, how it is that you feel, etc. So, yes, get your thoughts onto paper, and I very highly recommend, even if you're only writing it on a tablet, very highly recommend actually writing with a pen. It's so much more, it really connects the mind to the body versus, I find, typing. Although typing can be good if you're, if you have like a lot of energy about something and you really need to get it out, and you just need to get it out fast, right? Like, especially like if you're angry. But yes, very highly recommend journaling with a really nice pen. Okay, where do we... Being called to the Citadel deck next. Whoa, okay. The Enchanter. That's funny because we're talking about spells, right? I think some of you here might need to be writing out some spells for yourself, finding out the right words so that you can grab a hold onto what it is that you are seeking in your world right now. Calling in the magic towards what it is that you are seeking to grasp and make real within this world. I'm also seeing in this, because we have the skeletal hand here, this is likely going to also be in connection with your ancestors. And being pulled again to this card of look at her dress, it's very sort of Edwardian. There may be some ancestors here that would like for you to not only journal the things that... There's a reason why I mentioned family. Journal the things that, like I said, for me, that I've, of realizing the ways in which family has sort of programmed you. Family has really shaped the way that you are now, the way that you react now. Very much now getting the message of there's some ancestral things that need to be unwoven out of the tapestry of you and whoever will follow you, whoever is your descendant. And that doesn't necessarily mean children. That means the people that you touch, the people that you are intertwined with in your life. We're all connected, right? We all leave our mark, whether or not it's through children. Okay. Now I'm pulling out the Crow deck, the Crow Tarot. All right. What else do we need to do here, Spirit? Yep. I knew it, and I should have said this when I pulled this card, but what the skeleton hand is grasping onto did remind me of a heart. The thing that it is that we need to focus on are the things that are still causing us pain and heartbreak. Not focus on them as in continue dwelling on them. Get them out on that paper. Also here, I will say that therapy, if you need to do therapy to, and I've been thinking about this for myself lately, actually, with some of the things that I would like to sort of like unravel, unweave from who I am. You need to work through the things that have affected the way that you are now, the things that you have learned that you didn't necessarily want to learn how to deal with things. Now is the time to be spending doing some introspection. Get these things out on the page. Get these thoughts that keep on niggling at you out on the page. And truly, especially because this is a swords card and swords are about communication, this may be a situation too where you may want to speak with the person who has caused harm. And it doesn't always necessarily mean that you actually have to speak with them. I understand that, opening up old cans of worms is not necessarily great, but you need to do what you need to do, what you feel is going to be effective at allowing you to move on from this, allowing you to remove these swords from your heart that continue to slice you. However, what I will say is this, and especially because this is the very, first card that we got at the top of the reading, this could be just you writing letters to the people who have, because we do all cause harm to each other, it's what life is, but write letters to the people who have caused harm by unfortunately teaching you some bad thought patterns, not aligned ways of reacting to things. Write letters to them, and you can send them if you want, but you can also drop them in a river, burn them in a bonfire. Do you know what I mean? Bury them in the earth for them to be transformed into something else, right? For you to let them go. All right. Let's get our last card here. What will happen as we do this? Spirit. Oh my God. Okay. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? All right. This is absolutely stunning. The Ten of Cups, my love. The Ten of Cups, and where in this, this Three of Swords here, we have these two who are separated from each other, who this crow is thinking about the harm that this one has done and how it still affects them, how it still is slicing at their heart. Once we let that go, we can come into union. We can be the happiest, the very, very happiest. This is cups. This is emotional happiness, and such a beautiful life to live in, because we've dealt with our emotions. We've dealt with the things that are within us that have kept us from feeling like we are fully actualized as ourselves. Beautiful, beautiful. What a lovely reading. All right. Get to journaling, my love. I will too. I've been doing quite a bit actually since the holidays, and there's some other stuff that I would like to just get out. Yeah, it's just so good to put all those thoughts somewhere else where they can't harm you anymore. Even if you need to do it a couple of times. Even if you need to write those letters a couple of times and explore different facets of how you felt, and burn them a couple of times, put them in the river a couple of times, bury them a couple of times. And then we get everything. We get all the beautiful love and warmth and happiness that we could ask for. Okay, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!